This is my first book review that I've done in a while, so we will see how this turns out. This week's book is one of my favorite authors' book, and it is Kingfisher by Clair and Poulson. And this is one where I have a nasty habit of reading the last two chapters of a book. I don't know if I call it a nasty habit, but I have the habit of reading the last two chapters and epilogue of a book. And I think it might be to just assure myself that things are going to be okay in the end, or that maybe the two characters as I'm reading, maybe the two love interests fall in love, really, or if I'm reading maybe a mystery or adventure book, that I know what's going to happen. Which, when I'm listening to Sarah Black's books, I am glad that I don't have a physical copy of her book, because I feel like her style of writing is she makes you think it's one person and then changes it up so you think it's another person, and then changes it up so you think it's another person, and then you're back to the person that you first thought, and it changes things up, and then it's the person that you least expect it to be. And that one, for me, is the fact that I'm grateful that when I read her books, well, I listen to her books, and unless I pop in the last CD, then I don't know what the ending is. But this one, there was a part in Kingfisher that I was thinking it was the end for a character. So when I was at a bookstore and found the book, I ended up reading the last little bit, so I knew the character was going to survive what happened to him, and that it was going to be okay in the end. But this book is about a set of twins who, their parents die, so they are running the ranch, and they have a racehorse. And while the brother of the twins is racing this horse in a race, his competitor, another jockey, ends up cheating, and they end up calling him out on this cheating, and this cousin of the other jockey basically the jockey goes to his cousin, and his cousin does anything he can for his cousin to kind of protect, I don't know if I could say protecting his cousin, because he does something, you find out later in the book, that he did something back in the day for his cousin that was against the law, basically. And the cousin is a police officer, and there's just a whole lot that goes on with the fact that the cousin is a police officer, and this other jockey that, swears up and down that he didn't cheat. And there's just, you go on this adventure of finding out that who the bad guys are. And then I did have to kind of, ironically, I thought this was ironic at the end, that there is two other officers who work for two different police forces, who one actually works with the cousin who's the police officer, and they call in a tip about the cousin and the jockey, and then the cousin knows something about these two officers, so he calls in something about them, and they get arrested. And so I was like, well, they're just trying to get back at each other. But there is some love interests that come into into play in this book. There is, like I said, a part where I thought that the main character wasn't going to make it for a little bit, and that there was just, like I said, the ups and downs that made it so I didn't want to hit pause on this when I would have to pause. So I did, when it was towards the end, bring the book, or bring my radio downstairs to my room. I had it upstairs, so I brought my CD player downstairs, finished up the story and did it that way. And stayed up until about 2 in the morning to finish it. Anyways, I guess when you're reading books late at night, you measure by chapter, how many chapters you can get done in a night. Anyways, I hope this made sense. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.